Ping, pingly, ping, boom.
We're losing this whole neighborhood. Rioters are moving through, in force, and headed this way.
Put your people there. I see someone else got the call. I'm Agent Fei Lau, Division. Activated the same time as you, part of the second wave of us going in. I don't know what happened to the first wave, but unfortunately, there's still lots left for us to do. We don't have much intel, and we don't have the luxury of failure. Not with Manhattan under lockdown and Brooklyn on the brink. People like me, and you, we're what's left to hold the line. With any luck, we'll have more to go on once we rendezvous with the commander. More about the situation, about who's turning the streets into a war zone. Anything that's gonna help us do what we're supposed to do. If you'll excuse me, Lieutenant.
Officer Hazen and his team are handling situation reports. If you're looking for a hotspot, that's who you want to talk to.
Hey guys, it's the Brothers Play back at it again with another video of The Division. This is actually going to be part 1 of a little series here. Might do it like we did with Far Cry, where pretty much just part 1, part 2, just mucking around. So far, I managed to actually get quite a bit of gameplay time in. But, you know, I like to start a story from the beginning, so just doing a bit of... So I built a new character here, and we're gonna muck around a little. So, as a game itself, The Division is quite well built. I've always had a bit of a soft spot for third-person shooters. Take that. And that. Third-person shooters. Mainly because... I don't know, it just shows off the world a lot better, and it shows off the character that you've built a lot better. You know, which is pretty rad. As far as world building goes...
Morning.
Oh dear.
Hostile forces approaching.
As far as world building goes, it's fairly comprehensively well done, I would say. The premise is that a mystery sort of sickness, like / smallpox hybrid, gets released around the time of the Black Friday sales. I always knew the Black Friday sales would be the end of civilization. And basically what happens, the Black Friday sales in New York City, and it crashes pretty much the entire city. Pretty bad. It's a hard takedown. Systems start falling apart. Society pretty much pulls itself apart at the seams. And yeah, so in the wake of that, you know, the JTF, which is the Joint Task Force Unit, is formed. Which I always thought that it was like a Canadian thing, but, you know, I was wrong. And you're part of a mystery division called, oddly, The Division. A bunch of sleeper agents were activated when society falls apart. We rise, which is actually the tagline of the game. So world building is really quite nice. If you look around, everything is set up. Like, the world is permanent, the game world is permanently in winter, which is really strange. I think it'd be cool if they put in some seasons, like summer, autumn, winter, and maybe some rain or something. That would be awesome. But then again, I don't really know what's going on with that. Vehicles are all parked haphazardly all over the place. And your main enemy type that you run into are looters. Like, various other kinds of enemies are the Last Man Battalion, which is actually a private military, like, mercenary group that's based out of here, and the Rikers, which are actually the guys from convicts that escaped from Rikers Island during the collapse. And what was the other one? Cleaners. Cleaners are the most comical bunch of guys, actually, I feel. They are former New York City Department sanitation workers who decided, whose leader, their big boss, decided that you can basically take out the flu virus by incinerating everything and everyone that is infected. Which, you know, kind of makes sense. I mean, I think they did it during the plague, the Black Plague, but I don't really know. So it's kind of cool to run into them. They bring a sort of really cool fire dynamic to the field, so they have like AKs loaded with incendiary rounds, I think, and flamethrowers underslung in their weapons, which is kind of rad. So this is just actually a quick cut through the opening missions of the game, because I can't be bothered filming. Like, to put in the other stuff in between would just be too long and fatiguing. You would have lost interest by then, if you haven't lost interest by now. Character and weapon customizations, I would say, is quite rad. So you have two or three basic sections, depending on how you look at it. There's cosmetic stuff, so there's a jacket you can wear, an underlayer, which is just like a base layer underneath your armor vest, pants and shoes, and like maybe a hat, turning into a Team Fortress 2 kind of thing. It's actually kind of cool. And then you have armor. So armor comes in the terms of knee pads, gloves, and so knee pads, gloves, and shoes. Knee pads, gloves. No, it's knee pads, gloves, chest armor, and that's pretty much it, I think. Yeah, knee pads, gloves, chest armor. Then you have the utility section, which is you know, weapons and your weapons and your backpack, obviously weapons, backpack, and the face mask. So the face mask is actually kind of cool. It needs to be a certain level for you to access certain areas. So some areas are apparently so toxic that you have to like have a level 4, level 5 preparedness mask. If not, you will choke to death and die. So some of the side missions I have to do here, I don't really get to go into the restricted sort of zones, but you know, we'll get to see some of that later on. And speeding, so fast, going so fast. Woo! Woo! Alrighty. Yeah, and they're fairly cool to customize. They're fairly cool to customize. You can't really customize the outfit, well, the items you're wearing, in that you can't really change your jacket or change the color of your jacket. You can get different jackets, and there's a wide array. You get them by giving things to civilians, which is kind of cool. So it's more like just giving out supplies and whatnot to them. So it's sort of like you're acting, so that really sort of acts out the whole, you know, helping out people sort of thing, just out there helping people on the street who need it. And you earn character customization things through that. You can also earn weapon skins. The weapon customization is probably the thing I'm very sort of excited about. You can sort of put foregrips on your weapon, or you can put assault-like foregrips, laser sights, suppressors. You can even change out the muzzles and the compensator on it. Different weapon sights, different magazines as well. So different magazines will do different things. Obviously, there's a speed load magazine where you can dump the mag out really quickly, or you can get high velocity magazines, so the bullets hit harder, I guess. And different scopes. Different scopes are definitely a thing that affects gameplay. You learn how to, you'd be able to pick off enemies at a distance, and or you can, you know, alter it over to spray and pray, whichever one it is. There's a really cool shooting dynamic here in the game, which I really enjoy, which is it's sort of have a two-stage zoom. So the left trigger sort of puts you into standard sort of, it looks like firing from the hip, but it's really not. It's like a midway preliminary aim. And then if you click the right stick, you actually zoom in and use the scope, which is kind of cool. So you can kind of use an assault rifle with like a 12-time magnification sniper scope as a regular assault weapon, and then switch. And then if you need to like go long distance, you can click it and sort of zoom in, which is really quite smart. Overall gameplay, I'd say, is quite good. The gunplay combat is really sharply built, and there's a lot of different sort of environments that you get to fight in. There's a lot of different skills. Sorry, that's what I was going to say. There's a lot of different skills that you get to play around with. So things like you can throw a seeking grenade, which actually rolls up to the enemy like a murderous hamster ball and explodes, killing them. You can edit this grenade to do a bunch of different things. It can release gas. It can break into 9 or 10 different little bomblets that actually seek out different enemies and do damage to them as well. You get a combat shield that you can sort of pull up, or you get a deployable cover which you can drop on the spot to cover up your position. It can even be, you know, those kinds of things can be changed around to help you out depending on what the situation is. So there isn't really classes, it's more just it's more just what do you feel like specializing in. You can only have 2 skills active at a time. Obviously, kind of a bit Call of Duty is you can have perks as well. These perks are just valid to your day-to-day thing in your day-to-day activities in the Division, which is really quite rad. So everyone, like, no 2 agents are alike depending on your playstyle. So I think that's kind of cool. The loot system is actually quite cool as well. Loot is a bit more different here than it is in Destiny. In Destiny, a lot of people are complaining that the loot system is not very forgiving. It doesn't seem very fair. Loot here, you pretty much get loot from random events. However, it's a higher likelihood if you kill an elite that you will get something in return, and it's normally, you know, higher value. So it goes, I think the rarity is gray, which is just normal, and then green, which is slightly better, and blue, and then purple, and then I think it's gold. I've not actually seen a gold. One of my other older characters is has got a couple purple items, purple weapons, which is kind of rad. Yeah, so that's really quite awesome. Yeah, and the loot is really a first come first serve thing. So I haven't actually had a chance to play with anyone because not that many of my friends have the Division at the moment. Some of them are getting on top of it, Craig, but no, they haven't gotten it yet. So I've got no one really to play with at this stage. The Dark Zone loot system is really quite a lot more competitive. You, like, say for example, you're in this, you kill a guy in the Dark Zone, and you see some loot that you want, you have to run and get it before anyone else does, because it's PvP, so you gotta be really quick about that. But you know, overall, I'd say the loot system is not as punishing as Destiny. Like, you can grind for hours on Destiny and get nothing, or you can grind for like 5 minutes and get something. It's really erratic in Destiny, which I found was a major sort of turn off for me. But at least in the Division, it's fair enough that you do wind up getting something, and it's the frequency that you get something is a lot more. It's a lot better. There's different kinds of grenades as well. There's flashbangs, there's frag grenades, and you can actually switch that out, which I will probably showcase a little later. Maybe not. I don't think I did anything in this video with grenades. Just use the default ones, because I think early in the stage you only get a certain kind of grenade. You only get frag grenades. The opening is quite cool, although someone has told me that, a friend of mine told me that the writing for the game is not great, and I agree, it's probably not the best, but the story that lies under the whole deal is fairly intriguing. Like, rebuilding the city of New York is fairly new. Like, you always, I don't know if it's me, but I see a lot of games where the cities get destroyed. It might be a thing in movies, it's definitely a thing in movies, but I see a lot of games where the city turns into essentially just a battleground, rather than you sort of trying to build it back up, which is really awesome, and you get to learn a little bit about how a city operates. Granted, not all this information is really, like, obviously spot on the money, but you get to learn a bit about the concept, which is kind of awesome. Here we are, just raiding our way through. Go.
Hostiles detected.
Yeah, and like the gunplay is really well done in such a way that you can actually switch sides. So if you're hiding behind cover and you need to just switch to get a better angle, you can definitely do that. There's no crouching, unfortunately, which was the thing that really bugged me, is that you can't actually crouch your character. I'll just let this gunfight play out a little here. And that is actually an elite we have over there. As you see, the white bars means he's got an armored vest on, which can be really annoying to get through. But once you get through it, I found no matter the level, elites can be kind of squishy after you break through the main armor level. It's just the, you know, getting them to turn squishy is the annoying part. And I would say that is pretty much all the time we have here. So I'm gonna let this cutscene roll out, but tune in next time for more fun-filled episodes of The Division. Ryan might be joining me later on to do a review, or we might do a talkie, I don't really know. Anyway, have a good one. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye!
Over there. There's a bar behind that building. Best whiskey sours in Manhattan. If we take this city back, I'll buy you a drink. Sorry. I mean, when we take it back. Here it comes. The rest of us should be in this chopper. Can't believe it's finally happening. Do this!
Agent.
Ah!